And welcome everyone to the Crimson Tide Sports Network Facebook page. I'm Roger Hoover. It's time for another edition of Quarantine Q&A, and that's always presented by Alabama One Credit Union. They've been voted Tuscaloosa's best credit union and best mortgage lender. Alabama One offers low-rate auto, mortgage, and business loans, plus protection for it all with Alabama One Insurance. You can visit any of their 9 local branches or check them out online at alabama1.org. Alabama One, a proud supporter of Crimson Tide athletics, including baseball. And today it's time to talk some baseball on Quarantine Q&A as we're joined by Tyler Gentry, who played for the Crimson Tide the last 2 years and recently was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2020 MLB Draft by the Kansas City Royals. Tyler, great to have you with us. Roll Tide, man. How's everything going?
Thank you. Roll Tide. Things are going really good. Just enjoying a little vacation with my family. Just taking some time to relax right now.
Yeah, time to relax after what I'm sure was a really busy week for you getting ready for the Major League Baseball draft. And in a perfect world, the season would still be going for the Crimson Tide, of course, in Omaha at the College World Series. But with the COVID-19 pandemic, what have the last few weeks been like getting ready for the draft?
It's just a lot of, just really trying to stay as good a shape as possible, doing a lot of just lifting and doing baseball stuff at my high school down the streets, trying to stay in good shape. And then, yeah, the days upcoming to the draft, it's a lot of nights with not getting a lot of sleep, it's a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement going on. And so it was really, really nice when it finally happened and I kind of got that stress out of the way, that I was able to get some rest and now get a little vacation to take some time to relax and enjoy the moment.
Yeah, it's certainly well-deserved rest, and for you, you had been off to a really good start for the Crimson Tide this year. You were hitting .429. What led to your hot start at the plate?
I think it was just a lot of the work that Coach Dooley and I put in the fall and the preseason. We really we knew I was going to see a lot of off-speed pitches this upcoming spring, especially early in the count, because that's how teams were pitching me last year. And so we knew I needed to take more advantage of the good off-speed pitches that were, good pitches to drive early on in the count. And so I really felt like I was doing that to start off the year. And when some teams were pitching around me, and Coach Dooley told me, when teams are doing that, just don't chase anything, just take your free bases when I get. So I think that's how I was able to have some success with drawing some walks and stuff like that.
And of course, the year before in 2018 or 2019, you really led Alabama in every offensive category. But is there something to be said about kind of coming back with people knowing you're one of the big power threats in the lineup? Do they pitch you a lot differently in year 2?
Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of that. Like I said, a lot more off-speed pitches. Some teams were just intentionally walking me, but it was nice to have Sam Prater come back for us this year and have a power bat hitting behind me. So, most teams really didn't pitch around me. A lot of teams knew they still had to come right at me because we had a power bat hitting right behind me. So that really helped me some too, I think.
Crimson Tide were off to such a good start to the season. Some big wins, one of the best starts in school history at 16-1. How are you guys feeling in the clubhouse, knowing that each time you took the field, you had a great opportunity to win, and I'm sure you guys were really excited for the start of SEC play?
Oh yeah, it was. We were kind of anticipating getting off to a hot start like that. We knew we had a really good team coming into the year, and we knew we were going to ride the momentum that we were building in the preseason into the regular season. So it did kind of make it that much more disappointing when the season got shut down, because we were more excited for what we were going to do later on in the year and hopefully in the postseason. And so I really think that the team that will be coming back next year will be building off the momentum, hopefully, that we've built this year.
And what can you tell Crimson Tide fans about the type of program and kind of the vision that Brad Bohannon has for the Alabama baseball team?
I feel like all you got to do is really look at what the program was like right when he took over and what it's like now. When he took over, Alabama was kind of the joke of the SEC in baseball, and no one really had a lot of respect for the program, and it was kind of just really in a really bad position. And since he's taken over, it's really been building up into not only a respectable program in the SEC, but now it's kind of, I feel like some teams are going to begin to fear Alabama and everything that we present with the talent that we bring to the field and how we execute.
And you're not from the state of Alabama, you're from Arlington, Tennessee. What can you tell us about the journey you went on from being a high school player to eventually going to a Walters State for your community college and then coming to Alabama?
Oh, well, yeah, I feel like really it's a kind of a wake-up call to any 18-year-old when you go off, into the world on your own for college and stuff, and especially junior college. It's going to be a lot of early mornings, waking up for conditioning and weightlifting and stuff, and then there's no practice limits for how long you can do stuff like that. So it's a lot of grinds at the field where as soon as you get out of class, you're at practice, and you're at practice until the sun goes down. It feels like I really felt that helped me grow as a person and as a player, and helped get me ready for Alabama, and I feel like now the draft in pro baseball.
Yeah, and what was kind of the recruiting pitch you got to come to Alabama, and did Alabama really live up to your expectations when you signed?
Yeah, it definitely lived up to my expectations. I think the pitch was kind of like Coach Bo coming in and letting me know that he believed in me and that he believes in the direction he was taking the program, and I could kind of see that and what he was doing, the recruits he was bringing in, and really him instilling the belief in me that I could be a real key part of that if I came to Alabama. I knew I wanted to be a part of that. I really like Coach Dooley from just I had known him a little bit before, and he kind of instilled that belief in me too. When I got there, it was I hit the ground running, really connected well with the coaches and the other players there, and I'm really excited for my time there.
Yeah, you mentioned Coach Zuli. Did he really break down your swing a lot? Did you change much as a player, especially with your swing and how you are as a hitter? Did you change much during your time at Alabama with him?
I honestly didn't change much about my swing. When I got there, he kind of, looked at my swing and I looked at my swing and we were just like, I have a really fundamentally sound swing. There wasn't a whole lot mechanically we wanted to change, but he really felt like we need to change my approach at the plate. I was a little bit more passive when I first got to Alabama because in high school and junior college ball, you could let some pitches go by and just wait out until the pitcher eventually, makes a bad mistake and take advantage of that. But Coach Julie kind of let me know, like, hey, at this level, the first pitch fastball on the outside corner you see, that might be the best pitch you see in that at bat. So sometimes you got to take more advantage of that, and that's what I kind of started to work on in my first fall there and been building on ever since.
How much fun did you have playing at Alabama, especially the home games? The Joe would be packed for a Friday night or a great weekend series in the SEC. Just as a player, how much fun is it to play in Tuscaloosa?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a blast. It's kind of everything that you dream of as a kid, playing college baseball, big crowds, especially in the SEC, which, is probably the best conference of baseball in the country, probably the highest level of amateur baseball in the world. And it's just a blast. I mean, every night, especially when SEC conference play starts and, you're playing against a bunch of other really good players on the other side in their dugout, and it's just a battle every night, and it's just really a blast.
Yeah, you mentioned you're going in the SEC, playing in the SEC against some of the best competition, and a lot of people, when you got drafted, kind of pointed to that, saying, hey, Tyler Gentry was able to put up these numbers going up against SEC pitching. Just how elite is the pitching in the SEC you were facing night in, night out?
Yeah, it's pretty nice, like just knowing that I've had that success off of that to help build my confidence for the next level, hopefully. Just because, yeah, like you said, every night it's you're facing a guy who has a top-notch fastball with usually some good off-speed pitches and really good command. And so, I mean, you can't take a single night off. Like you can't, if you mentally take a night off, you're gonna go 0 for 3 or 3 punch-outs, and that can sometimes lead to a bad weekend altogether. And so you really just. And the other thing is, like, if you do have a night like that, you can't let that consume you because you got to come out the next day because the next day is going to be a battle. And so I think going through that really helped me grow as a person and player too, and I'm really thankful for it.
And then for you this year, again, off to a really good start before the COVID-19 pandemic hit, so just before Alabama was going to start SEC play against the Missouri Tigers. You mentioned you were able to stay in shape and start mentally getting ready for the draft, but were you able to talk to any major league teams or have any meetings like maybe you would have normally during a year?
Well, yeah, I had a ton of meetings and calls with teams, but none of them were obviously in person. They were all over Zoom or just phone calls and stuff. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, and I commend a lot of the teams for having to adjust to that, and really still get meetings. And I still feel like I got to meet and know a lot of these teams and their representatives. I feel like they got to know me. So, I mean, I feel like it was pretty normal how it ended up, even other than the rounds getting cut short. But with the meetings and phone calls, I was still able to get everything done that I needed to.
What was some of the typical stuff they would ask you in some of the Zoom meetings or interviews you had with them?
I feel like a lot of the stuff was more like just trying to get to know me as a person. A lot of the stuff, they've seen me play in person and on videos, like, so they know really what I provide on the field. They're just trying to get a feel for who I was as a person. A lot of questions or stuff like, what are your hobbies outside of baseball? What's the hardest thing you had to go through in like your childhood, stuff like that, and just go through that and really just try to get down to like who you are, who's Tyler Gentry, and stuff like that.
Well, when your name was called, third round, 76 overall pick by the Kansas City Royals, where were you when you first saw it? Who was around you on draft night?
I just had there's like a small restaurant in Arlington that I went to, and I just had 20 friends and some family members there, and it was it was nerve wracking at first. Like they were a lot of my friends afterwards, after everything, it was all, it was all happy after that. But they said like they had never seen me. I'm usually a really laid back guy, but they had never seen me, as nervous and anxious as I was. The moments leading up to the pick, but after the pick, it was just pure joy everywhere. Just hugs and stuff like that. And it was just really happy to finally get that weight off my shoulders after the months really of anticipation leading up to it.
Yeah, and it can be so uncertain as to which team you're going to or kind of which direction you're going to head next. Did you like the fact that it was the Kansas City Royals? Again, a little closer to home, to West Tennessee for you. I imagine that's kind of Cardinal country, though. So what was kind of the reaction from a lot of your friends seeing your name picked by the Royals?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really care that much going in. I don't think my friends really cared that much going in what team it was. But, everything I've heard about the Royals is that they just really run a classy organization. They're, members of their front office. They really know what they're doing. They take really good care of their employees and their players. And when I really started to learn all that stuff and, talk to the GM and scouting director, I really started to like them. So the more I learned, the more I'm, happy that they were the team that took me, and I'm really excited to get going.
And with getting going, what are the next steps for you getting ready to start your professional baseball career?
Yeah, I think there's like an orientation I have to go to this weekend to like get my physicals and sign if everything works out. And after that, I think there's still a lot up in the air about when we're going to start like mini camp. If there's going to be a fall league and stuff like that. But we'll figure it out soon, I think.
Well, Alabama fans are certainly excited for this next step in your career. Just as we start to wrap things up, any final message to the Crimson Tide fans that cheered you on at Sewell Thomas Stadium over the last 2 seasons?
Yeah, just thank you to everyone that was, by my side since the beginning, and I hope I make them all proud at the next level.
Tyler, Roll Tide, really enjoyed this conversation, and best of luck to you once you do sign with the Royals and start your professional baseball journey. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that was Tyler Gentry, of Alabama baseball alum and now a draftee of the Kansas City Royals. We thank you for joining us for this edition of Quarantine Q&A. We'll have more coming up on the Crimson Tide Sports Network.